There's a moment that feels like progress, but quietly changes everything. It usually starts small. Maybe it's a new couch because the old one doesn't match the vibe anymore, or a bigger TV because the current one suddenly feels outdated. Maybe it's upgrading your kitchen appliances, repainting the walls, or finally buying that sleek dining table you've been saving on Pinterest for months. Individually, none of these decisions feel dangerous. In fact, they feel responsible, mature, like you're building a better life. And that's exactly why they're so powerful. Because the most expensive financial mistakes rarely feel like mistakes when you're making them. They feel like upgrades. The problem isn't that you're improving your home. The problem is what that upgrade quietly does to your baseline. Before the upgrade, your home works. It's functional. It serves your needs. You're not thinking about it much. After the upgrade, something shifts. Now you're more aware. You notice what doesn't match, what feels out of place, what doesn't live up to the new standard you've just created. That new couch makes your old coffee table look cheap. The upgraded kitchen makes the rest of the house feel outdated. The modern lighting suddenly exposes how dull the rest of the rooms feel. And without realizing it, one upgrade turns into a chain reaction. This is where the real cost begins, because the first purchase is rarely the last. You don't just upgrade your home, you upgrade your expectations. And expectations are expensive to maintain. Let's say someone buys a nicer apartment or renovates their current space. The intention is simple: to enjoy where they live more, to feel proud of their environment, to create comfort. But what actually happens over the next few months is far more subtle. They start buying things that fit the new space: better furniture, higher quality decor, more expensive appliances, maybe even small things like nicer towels, upgraded kitchenware, or premium cleaning products. None of these purchases are extreme on their own, but together they quietly reshape spending behavior. And here's the part most people don't notice. Once your environment improves, your sense of normal shifts with it. What used to feel like a luxury now feels like the minimum standard. That's the trap. Because now going backwards feels uncomfortable. The cheaper option feels wrong. The budget version feels like a downgrade. And suddenly you're no longer choosing based on value. You're choosing based on consistency with your new lifestyle. This is how lifestyle inflation sneaks into your home. Not through one big decision, but through dozens of small, justified ones. And it's especially dangerous because it hides inside something that looks productive. You're not wasting money on meaningless things. You're investing in your living space. You're improving your quality of life. That's what makes it so convincing. But there's a hidden trade-off. Every dollar you put into maintaining a higher standard of living is a dollar that's no longer working toward your future. And over time, those dollars add up in ways that are hard to see in the moment. Imagine two people with similar incomes. One decides to keep their home simple, functional, comfortable, but not constantly upgraded. They resist the urge to improve everything at once. They replace things when necessary, not when they feel slightly outdated. The other decides to upgrade. First it's the living room, then the bedroom, then the kitchen, then the small details that tie everything together. 5 years later, both homes look very different, but so do their finances. One has built a cushion, investments, flexibility. The other has a beautiful space, but less room to breathe financially. And the difference wasn't caused by one big, obvious mistake. It was caused by a series of upgrades that felt completely reasonable at the time. There's also a psychological layer that makes this even harder to escape. Your home is deeply tied to your identity. It's not just where you live, it's how you present yourself. It reflects your taste, your progress, your success. So when you upgrade your home, it doesn't just feel like a financial decision, it feels personal. And once something becomes part of your identity, it becomes much harder to scale back. Because now, downgrading doesn't just feel like saving money, it feels like losing something. This is why people rarely reverse lifestyle inflation once it starts. They adjust their income to support it instead. They work more, they push for raises, they take on side hustles. Not necessarily to build wealth, but to sustain the level they've already reached. And that creates a quiet kind of pressure, because now your lifestyle depends on your income staying high. There's less margin for error, less flexibility, less freedom to step back. And all of this can start from something as simple as upgrading your home. It's not the purchase itself that's dangerous, it's what it sets in motion. Because once your environment improves, your spending tends to rise to match it. And once your spending rises, your ability to save quietly shrinks. Not in a dramatic way, but in a slow, almost invisible way that compounds over time. You don't feel it in a single month, you feel it years later when you realize how much harder it is to build wealth than it should have been. And by then, your lifestyle has already adapted to the higher level, which makes it incredibly difficult to undo. And that's where the real problem begins. Because now the upgrades aren't optional anymore, they're expected. And when something becomes expected, it quietly shifts from a choice into a requirement. This is where the home upgrade stops being about comfort and starts becoming a financial obligation you didn't consciously agree to. You see it in small, everyday decisions. You replace things earlier than necessary, not because they're broken, but because they no longer feel good enough. You choose the premium option by default, not because you carefully evaluated it, but because anything less feels like a step backward. You justify higher expenses because they match the house. And over time, this changes how you relate to money itself. Before, you might have asked, "Do I need this?" Now the question becomes, does this fit my lifestyle? That's a completely different standard. One is grounded in utility, the other is grounded in identity. And identity is far more expensive to maintain. There's also something else happening beneath the surface that most people never consciously notice. Upgrading your home increases your fixed expectations, but your income doesn't always increase at the same pace or with the same stability. So what you end up with is a tighter financial system. More of your income gets pre-committed. More of your money is spoken for before you even have the chance to decide what to do with it. And when your financial life becomes more rigid, your options shrink. It becomes harder to save aggressively, harder to invest consistently, harder to take risks that could improve your long-term future. You might still be earning well, you might still be doing fine on paper, but the flexibility is gone. And flexibility is one of the most underrated forms of wealth, because it's what gives you the ability to say no to things that don't align with your future. It's what gives you the ability to walk away from a job, to take a break, to make a change without everything collapsing. When your lifestyle expands too far, that flexibility quietly disappears. And the trade-off doesn't feel obvious at first. You feel more comfortable, more settled, more put together. But at the same time, you're slowly giving up the very thing that creates real security, the ability to choose. This is why the home upgrade is so deceptive. It doesn't look like overspending. It looks like progress. It doesn't feel impulsive. It feels intentional. But the long-term effect is the same. Your savings rate declines. Your financial buffer weakens. Your dependence on your current income increases. And the most dangerous part is that you can maintain this state for years without realizing the cost, because nothing is visibly wrong. Your bills are paid, your home looks great, your life seems stable. It's only when something changes, when income drops, when expenses rise unexpectedly, or when you want to make a big life decision that the pressure becomes visible. That's when you realize how little room you actually have. And by then, reversing it isn't simple, because you're not just adjusting numbers on a spreadsheet, you're adjusting your lifestyle, your habits, your identity. So what's the alternative? It's not about avoiding all upgrades or living in a space that feels uncomfortable or outdated. That's not realistic, and it's not the point. The real shift is learning to separate improvement from escalation. Improving your home should make your life better without permanently raising your baseline. That means being intentional about what you upgrade, and more importantly, why you're upgrading it. Is it solving a real problem? Or is it just aligning your environment with a new standard you've unconsciously adopted? Because those two motivations lead to very different outcomes. One adds value without creating pressure, the other creates a cycle that's hard to break. It also means accepting something that's uncomfortable but incredibly important. Not everything in your home needs to match a perfect standard. Some things can be slightly outdated. Some things can be good enough. Because the moment everything has to be perfect, everything becomes expensive. And perfection is one of the fastest ways to destroy your savings without realizing it. There's a quiet kind of power in being able to live in a space that isn't constantly optimized, but still feels enough. Because enough creates space. Space to save. Space to invest. Space to make decisions based on your future, not just your current lifestyle. And that space compounds in a way that no home upgrade ever can. At the end of the day, your home should support your life, not quietly control your financial decisions. It should be a place that gives you comfort, not a standard that forces you into higher spending just to maintain it. Because the real goal isn't to have a home that looks impressive, it's to build a life that gives you freedom. And sometimes the difference between those two paths comes down to a series of upgrades that felt completely harmless at the time, but slowly changed everything.